We'll call the meeting to order. Would you all please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome everybody here today. It's kind of a cold day, but we'll get through it. Roll call. Augie?
Bruner.
Here.
Farnham. Helsley.
Here.
Lorenzen.
Here.
Patrick. Zuber.
Here.
Voigt.
Here. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Number 4 is minutes from the December 9th regular meeting. I assume the board has had a chance to review those. Is there a motion to approve those minutes, please?
So moved.
Mr. Bruner moved. Do I have a second? Mr. Zuber seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, it does carry. Okay, claims against the county. Before we have a motion on it, we have a courthouse improvement check that was written to Weiss Janney Associates for professional services for $16,494.70. That is scheduled to be approved, but it's out of the wrong line item account. It should be out of general fund. What's the
building?
It's
building and grounds? That's what I was looking for. It should be building and grounds. So with that note, that was just a typographical error, I'd accept a motion to approve the bills as submitted.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Farnham moves. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Lorenzen seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Also, please note that Andy Patrick has joined us, so we do have all 7 members of the board. Okay, county board claims. Do I have a motion on the county board claims, please?
So moved.
Mr. Zuber, second by Mike Helsley. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it carries. Thank you. Public comment. Are there any public comments, please?
Yeah, we got a couple. At the airport meeting a couple nights ago. And I remember last month at the meeting I mentioned they need to check on whether they had to bid out buying fuel or not. And it appears the manager just went ahead and decided who they're gonna buy fuel from, and nobody's mentioned putting it out for bid. History of the airport shows you exceed the threshold annually on fuel purchases, and you have to put it out for bid. There's no option. If there's only one, so be it. At least you put it out for bid and somebody else had a chance to bid. If you only get one bid, guess who you go with? The other thing, somebody told me I wasn't accurate when I mentioned that the airport manager handbook was never, ever approved by the airport board or the county board. Person actually said I was lying when I said that. He said that when he was on the county board, they approved it. Well, that's wrong. In June of 2013, June 19, during or wasn't a day or two of that, during a study session, a white binder was passed around to all the board members and said, you know, hey, here's the airport manager handbook, we gotta get it approved, and there were problems with it. Mr. Voigt mentioned on the video, because I've watched all these videos, that there were some pages missing, and Jimmy Wells says, well, I'll get you the pages, and Carl Farnham says, well, we'll look at it in a couple of days at the next meeting. Well, the next meeting comes up. No approval. It was mentioned that there needs to be another meeting, and I believe Mr. Helsley said, yeah, we have to discuss the the handbook also. And since then, there's been no approval for the airport manager handbook. So whatever this person that used to be on the airport board is trying to get you guys to use to evict people from the hangars isn't a valid policy or handbook. You have to approve the thing. There were problems with it when he attempted to get approved, which is why it never went through. And then he resigned real shortly after his first attempt at getting that approved, and it was never approved. So I would ask that you, and I submitted a FOIA, and so some people might think I'm abusing the FOIA system again, but I want to make sure that Augie doesn't have any minutes where that manual was approved. I know he doesn't, but I want to be factual when I state it. I stated it in my article because I know it's true, but I want backup evidence that it is true. And I would wish you guys would either approve the manual, get it over with, and then follow it, or say the manual isn't valid. One or the other. Don't leave everybody hanging for another 2 or 3 years.
Thank you, John. Any further public comment, please?
Good morning. My name is Robert Bogue, and I'm a citizen of the United States, veteran of the United States Army. And like all service members, I swore to uphold the Constitution of the United States and its laws. Also a resident of Edgar County. Looking back on the year 2015, I've noticed Jerry Griffin remains employed by Edgar County despite absolute proof that he lied on his resume, and even after the airport committee members Voigt, Farnham, and Helsley were reminded at nearly every study session and every county board meeting of the same. Given the undisputed proof that he grossly fabricated his resume, Voigt, Farnham, and Helsley protected his position at the airport and rewarded his dishonest, deceptive, and unscrupulous behavior with continued employment. Nothing has been done to remedy the situation. Sadly, and in retrospect, it appears as though this county board has crawled into the sewer with Jerry Griffin and his lies, rather than serve the taxpayers of this county with honor. In mentioning the airport, one cannot rightfully do so without in some way mentioning the grant assurances. These were promises assuring fair and equal treatment for all. Promises were repeatedly broken by this county board. By example, in 2013, the county board mandated insurance for all T-hangar leaseholders that was never achieved throughout 2014 and 2015. This failure occurred under Jerry Griffin's management and that of the airport committee's leadership, again, Voigt, Farnham, and Helsley, and that of this county board. Not a single leaseholder ever fully complied with these requirements. Once again, we find the failure of Jerry Griffin to perform his job as the airport manager, if it was even this board's intention for him to do so. Clearly, the county's insistence for insurance in the fall of 2013 was solely intended to provide cover for the county's wrongful actions of canceling my son, Rusty's leave at the airport in 2013. A lease that did not mention or have any insurance requirements, and was canceled before his fatal crash and before the firebombing of 2 aircraft at the Edgar County Airport. It seems the insurance mandate of 2013 was implemented in the hopes of assuaging the taxpayers' concerns regarding wrongdoing at the airport. There never was any intention of enforcing those mandates. In fact, there never was or has been fair and equal treatment for all. In 2015, triple violations of Illinois law by this county, its contractor Hanson Engineering, and even the state administrators in Springfield also came to light. You cannot expand your airport without zoning, county zoning. You've done that 3 times. There's a lot more I could speak about. I had a list of predictions here for 2016. I predict the Division of Aeronautics will first suspend the current project pending a formal investigation into all charges of impropriety. Then the project will be dropped. I predict the Division of Aeronautics will investigate the county's eligibility for NIPIAS funding at the Edgar County Airport and find it no longer qualifies for same. Perhaps that funding will be dropped. The Division of Aeronautics will investigate the many claims that grant assurances were deliberately violated and that unfair and unequal treatment of airport users occurred on several occasions. At that point, NIPIS funding, as well as any other funding, will be dropped. The Division of Aeronautics will then have to reconcile the triple illegal airport expansions that occurred over the previous 10 years, all of which required county and zoning that never existed nor was ever implemented. If there's any funding remaining from state or federal sources, that too will likely be dropped. A payback from the county to the state and to FAA will likely be considered if not implemented. The Division of Aeronautics will be forced to address the zoning question. Zoning around our county airport is required by Illinois law before there is any expansion. Should not the violators of Illinois law, such as Mark Iseth, our county board, the airport committee members Voigt, Farnham, and Helsley, and Hanson Engineering, be held accountable by the Edgar County taxpayers? I sure hope so. I wanted to comment on Monday night's meeting. John, you stole my thunder. From Matt.
30 seconds.
Okay. Gentlemen, I've been up in front of you telling you that you made a big mistake with Jerry. And that you need to discharge him. You can keep him. That just adds fuel to the fire. If that's your intention, to keep the wages of war here in process, that's the way it's gonna be. You only need to say and do what is the right thing here. Jerry needs to find a new home.
Time's up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional public comments, please?
Mr. Chairman, could I have a couple minutes, please?
I'll get them away. Three.
I have a couple minutes.
As a citizen.
Pardon?
As a citizen.
Yes. Well, no. I don't have a right to say something.
Yeah, you
positive.
have it right.
All right. Over here last year was all the negatives we do incorrectly. I kind of sat down and wrote some positives that the board has done in the past year. Number one, we were able to pay some of the debt because of the budget that we had some money left over. Number two, we gave the county employees a raise, 3% raise, which is a lot more than Social Security gave. We kept the county's health insurance premium under 10%, started out at 17%, so we worked on that and got it to under a 10% increase. We saved the county $20,000 in renewing the county workman's comp insurance. We had major repairs at the courthouse and health department building, which are still ongoing. Thanks to Aaron, we have the best roads and bridges in the county and the state. We continue to work on the improvements at the airport, contrary to some people's idea. We now have a good relationship with the 911 board. We have the best ambulance service in the state, and we have a new contract with the sheriff's deputies. So we have done some good things last year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bruner. Anybody else? If not, we will continue to item 8, highway resolutions. The first resolution is a resolution to rescind the remaining funding allocated to Elbridge Township CATV number 247 Farnham Bridge approaches. Aaron?
The township has indicated they no longer want to make that improvement.
Okay. Do we have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Farnham moves. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mike Helsley seconds. Is there any further discussion from the board? Okay. Roll call, please.
Brunner,
Yes.
Farnham,
Yes.
Helsley,
Yes.
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Zuber.
Yes.
6-0, it does pass. Second resolution is to appropriate aid from the County Bridge Fund to substantially assist Sims Township in the expense of CATB numbers 263, 500th Road Drainage and Safety Project. Aaron?
Sims Township is petitioning the county board through the highway department to extend, to have the county participate in the drainage project on 500th Road, and we'll follow our standard procedure, which is on these type of improvements, they buy the material and we provide the equipment and labor.
Okay, do we have a motion, please?
So moved.
Mr. Bruner moves.
Second.
Mr. Helsley seconds. Is there further discussion by the board? Hearing none, we need a roll call vote, please.
Brunner,
Yes.
Farnum,
Yes.
Helsley,
Yes.
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Zuber.
Yes.
6-0.
Resolution does carry and is approved. Number 9, action on deputy's contract with Illinois FOP Labor Council and County of Edgar, Edgar County Sheriff. Carl?
Back in December, I think it was the last time we met, we came to an agreement on the contract. We met a couple times. We had to have a federal mediator come in. Make a whole lot of progress with that. The next step was arbitration, and the decision was made, we didn't want to go to arbitration, that we just settled this with minimal changes in the contract. The changes were on health insurance and the salary increase. The health insurance was increased from $20 a month that they last year were paying to an increase of $50 a month for the first year. The second year was $60 a month. The current cost for the same plan for other county employees is $259 a month for that same plan. Me personally, I don't think that's fair. That's why I was not for it. On the increase in salary, we came up with an agreement of 3.25% for the first year and 3% for the second year. Another major issue with the group, our group, was overtime. Last year in the sheriff's budget, he had $56,000, no, $65,000 in overtime. And in 2015, the sheriff's department spent $151,000 in overtime. That's $85,000, I think, over budget. So that was why our group, negotiating group, wanted to address that. We were not able to get that addressed. We did get something added to the contract, a memorandum of understanding, where after the contract is signed, that we would form a committee to meet with the road deputies to discuss overtime issues and health insurance issues. So once the contract is signed, then we have to pass this memorandum of understanding and then have quarterly meetings with the road deputies to discuss these only two issues. And hopefully, and during the discussions, we can get something worked out to better the situation. Because if the situation isn't made better, there's a real possibility of layoffs. And we don't want that to happen. So we're gonna work on that to try to see what we can do on that. So this is the contract that was negotiated, and we'll let the board decide if they want to accept it or not.
What's the recommendation of the committee?
The recommendation of the committee was not unanimous, but the recommendation was to accept this, put this forward to the group to vote on.
And the reason is because the mediator said if we went to arbitration, we would spend 15 or 20,000 and we'd lose. That's the main, not that anybody likes it. I want to go on record saying I do not want the sheriff or the sheriff's deputies to get the wrong impression. If we could pay them each $150,000 a year and could afford it, I'd vote to do that. These guys deserve a good salary and a good income, but we don't have the money, and it's grossly unfair to the rest of the employees in the county and the county budget. So it's tilted towards those guys way more than I'm comfortable with. And I don't want to vote for this, but I'm going to because we don't really have a choice. This union was formed long before I got on the board, and it's been negotiated over the years to a point where it's kind of out of control, and unless we get some voluntary compliance with these guys, it's just going to spiral into more and more and more money, and I don't know that there's anything legally that we can do about it. That's my opinion, so.
Thank you, Mike.
Well, I feel the same way as Carl and Mike. We got to the point where we really didn't have a choice. I mean, the arbitrator, last time the hard one cost $60,000, I think, and they still lost, so you're gambling that you're gonna win, but we didn't think we'd win. And it cost the county more money in the long run.
Anybody else have any comments on it, please? Could we have a motion to approve the negotiated contract?
So move.
Mr. Brenner moved. Is there a second, please?
I'll second it.
Mike Elsley seconds. I'd like a roll call vote on it, please.
Bruno.
Yes.
I'm sorry, is there any further discussion? Okay. Please, Mr. Clerk.
Bruner,
Yes.
Farnham,
No.
Helsley,
Yes.
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Zuber.
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen. And it was a difficult process, and if we don't progress in the right direction, this is not good. By the way, this is only a 2-year contract, and we're gonna have to see some
And we're
productive
still
movement in this issue.
in the process of negotiating with the other two.
Right.
So,
Yes.
factions down there.
All right, gentlemen, we'll move on then. Ordinance approving
Number 10.
I'm sorry, pardon me. Authorize supervisor assessment to solicit bids for aerial flights for 2017. Dina, would you like to thumbnail? I talked about it a little bit at the study session, but Dina's here for your questions and
Right, other than explain, we wouldn't fly till spring of 17, but the reason we're doing this so early is so we can capture that prime flight time. We're very specific about the images. We want no vegetation on the ground, we don't want any tree crowns, we don't want snow on the ground, we don't want cloudy days. We want sunny days where the sun's high in the sky because we only can allow a certain percentage of shade angle. Very specific, so we get the bids, make a decision, and get it in that prime choice time to fly in spring of 17.
Dina, this money is gonna come out of,
The GIS funds.
and just to give the board some kind of a shot about what this is gonna cost, I know you can't guarantee, but you've probably done some kind of a range so they know what we're talking about here.
I'm going to guess 50-ish, 50,000, somewhere between 50, maybe.
And when was the
60.
last time this was done, Dina?
2008.
Okay.
Most counties do it every 4 years, so we're well behind that.
And you have redesigned the GIS budget so that you're collecting money on an annual basis so that we don't have to wait so long, is that correct? All
We
right.
should be able to do it every 4 years.
Dina, why can't you use Google? I'm not saying you should, I'm just asking you why.
Again, Google shots are random shots. A lot of times we do try to use internet maps, but if we're looking at anything residential and it's tree crowns, we can see nothing but tree crowns. They're just randomly shot. We'll have a shadow in the way we can't see, because there's properties we can't access, so we rely on those to be able to see exactly what's home site. Is there a deck? Is there a garage? That kind of thing. So we ask for very specific shots.
So this is in lieu of you physically going to the property, walking around, measuring it, looking.
No, we still do, but there are properties we can't access. Sometimes they'll even be farmland that there's no road that touches it, we can't get to it, but by the air we can see whether there's any kind of drainage issues, if there's any kind of a grass waterway they put in, if they've torn out trees, where we physically can't see it from the road. But we'll still do our best attempt, or to get to every property in view. This is just an aid. We use it, a lot of people will use it to determine their property lines. It's not exact, but it gives them an idea how close they are to the property lines. And again, we are, I believe they're flown at 6-inch pixel resolution. So again, it's very, very specific for our use. It's not just random aerial photography. They'll have quality control points all over the county that will help make sure that the latitude and longitude is exact. It's very specific for our use.
You'll be able to improve measurements that you do as opposed to long measurements in the field. You'll be able to do measurements with the
If
technology that we now have in the office.
Once you do this, is this something that would be available to the public, or is
Yes.
this for only?
It'll be replaced or possibly added to what's on the website now. You can go
So
to the
it'll be on the
website and see
website.
the aerial photography right now.
Okay.
It's just old.
Okay. Is there a lot of people that, I mean, is this something common for different people to, is there just one or two in the state of Illinois, I guess, that does this, or is there a lot of people that do this?
That
kind
do
of
the
work?
aerial photography? Oh, no, the entire county. We're hoping to partner
Yes.
with Clark
No,
County.
the people that actually do the photography.
How many bidders?
Oh,
Is there a lot of people
Right
that
now,
do
we
that?
only know of 2.
Okay, so it's not very many.
No.
Don?
Does this generate any potential income from anybody, commercial-wise? Any of
As
this?
long as it's on the website.
Okay, I didn't know if everything that was on the website, if it's 100%, or if there's other,
There-
something behind the scenes that,
There are vendors that will buy data, but it's not necessarily the photography.
okay. I'm just looking for ways to offset some of the expense if there was, if it's commercial use.
Other questions?
You say you're trying to work this together with the counties around us, or some county around us?
I've called every county, and the only one that's a go is Clark.
Like where they're up there?
And even so, both companies that we've had conversations with have said, if you have 5 or 6 counties, it might be a 10% decrease. So, you know, it'll be minimal, but if they can do more than one county at a time, they will offer you a little bit of a discount, so.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to,
But can I ask one more question?
Oh, absolutely.
Do we have possibilities, are we thinking about a possibility of utilizing those more in the future? Once, if I'm understanding you correct, this is gonna be shot at the same pixel and the same resolution and same altitude for the whole county.
Correct.
So therefore, do we have,
Other than over corporations.
okay. I guess that's what I was wondering. So will we in the future then have a possibility that, I'm not saying we want to or not, but of not needing people to go out there all the time, if it's an exact amount and it's shooting an exact amount from everybody, will there be as much of a need to go out? Because there's surely some sort of programs now that like, and it tells you exactly what it is. You may still have to know what's on the inside as far as outside square footage of a pole barn. You'll know what that is.
It's similar to driving a car off the lot, though. I mean, the minute you fly that and quality control and we receive it, it's already outdated.
Yeah, but
That-
you would at least have that, I guess what I'm saying, as a base. You can
Sure.
use that as your base.
Sure.
In other words, Mike has a place up in Chrisman, you know, and all of a sudden a 20,000 square building appears. Well, if it wasn't there, you'll know that, okay, that's there.
Right, but I still, yeah, the physical viewing is still gonna be needed, though.
Okay.
One last question. He says it's gonna be around ballpark 50,000. Are you going to try to bid it somewhere or
Oh,
another?
absolutely.
Okay. Just wondered.
Right, that's what we wanna do to see who'll give us the best price.
That's why we're authorizing this now.
Okay.
So move if you're ready for that.
I am Mr. Zuber. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Mr. Lorenzen seconds. Any further discussion by the board? Okay, assuming none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. It does carry. Okay, thank you, Dina. Okay, the next one, ordinance approving real estate tax abatement for Cadillac Products Packaging Company for Edgar, County of Edgar, Edgar County Special Area Ambulance, and the Community Mental Health Board. Augie, did you have something to say here?
Yes, I'd like to follow up on, the question was asked at the study session, if the city had included in these ordinances one for the public health department. I did speak with Paul Ruff, and they inadvertently omitted putting one in our packet. So, rather than do these three and then next month have to do another one, Paul and I thought it would be a lot more transparent and better record keeping if we just waited until we got that other ordinance for the health department, and then we'll just do them all together at the next month's board meeting. Does that help?
In other words, the package is incomplete.
Thank you.
So we'll either move on, or if you want to table it till it's approved, we can do it either way. Just skip this item. Okay, we'll scratch 12. 13, resolution appointing Donald Wiseman as treasurer of the Union Drainage District.
You're not doing 12, you say?
No, he's skipping one.
Oh, I was skipping it. I didn't hear anything, so I,
Do we probably table it?
that's fine.
No, I mean, I thought you were talking about 11.
It was 11.
It was
Yeah,
11.
It's 11.
So now
I'm
we
sorry.
skipped 11, so, or you want?
Yeah, I skipped 12. I'm sorry. Do you want to do a table on 11?
You need a motion?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to do that.
Okay. Second by Carl. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, carries. Okay, resolution approving oaths and bonds for Donald R. Moody, Stephen R. Sunkel, Greg Atkin, Commissioners of Union Drainage District Number 1 of the towns of Paris and Edgar, County of Edgar, State of Illinois. Have a motion on that, please?
I'll make that
Carl
motion.
Farnham.
Second.
Mr. Zuber, I think, was the one. We have a roll call vote.
Brunner?
Yes.
Farnham? Did he say yes?
Yes.
Helsley?
Yes.
Lorenzen?
Yes.
Patrick?
Yes.
Zuber?
Yes.
It does carry. Now we have another resolution appointing Don Wiseman as treasurer of Union Drainage District Number 3 of the town of Shiloh, County of Edgar, State of Illinois. Is there a motion, please? Mr. Lorenzen, second.
Yes.
Okay, by Mr. Zuber.
Mr.
Yes.
Explain that.
David Kramer resigned, or quit being their treasurer.
So they're requesting you to. be-
Through their attorney, Attorney James, asked, I said, sure, why not, one more when you're already doing 30.
You're doing several others.
I was gonna say, Yeah.
What experience do you have in the role?
Okay, assuming we're ready, resolution, we need a roll call.
Brunner?
Yes.
Farnham?
Yes.
Helsley?
Yes.
Lorenzen?
Yes.
Patrick?
Yes.
Zuber?
Yes.
It is approved. Thank you. Okay, we'll go to officers and department heads. Dina, did you have anything else at this time?
Oh, I always do. Board review began Monday to look at all of our 61 whole complaints. When the weather permits and that's finished, we'll begin our quad work. And our good news is we have 2 multi-township districts right now that are vacant, but we have 2 people that are very interested in the positions. So pending passing legislation, there's an exam early February. We will have assessors for all townships in Edgar County, provided they are approved and voted in by their multi-township districts.
Thank you. Monty?
Nothing new for probation.
Sandy?
Nothing, sir.
Eric and Nicole?
AED grants need to be turned in soon. If they're not turned in, there are a lot of people that have not done it yet. I just, while we're sitting here, got an updated list, and they've only had about 15 agencies turn in grant applications.
We have almost 20, we have 23 to 25 AEDs, supplies, and free training that goes along with them to distribute to the county. And all the applications are due by the 18th. So if you know of anyone, school, sports complex, daycare center, church, any meeting area in town where there, you know, where we frequently have large groups or gatherings, anyone, please let them know to get in contact with us so we can get them an application, they can get it turned in by the 18th.
Does the sheriff have one in each one of the cars?
I've got an application, put one each.
Now you go to you?
No, you can send
Send
it
it,
directly
okay,
to
that's
the
what I had
village
to set
center.
up to send to them.
Yeah, and then I would confirm with them afterwards that they received it. We were really shocked by the low number just because of the amount of applications that we have distributed. And, you know, we're less than a week out from them. They'll decide, and we should know around April, who is going to be getting them. But I definitely don't want anyone in the community to miss out. I mean, AEDs themselves are over $2,000, and then there's supplies and trainings for all of your staff and everything else. I mean, it's a lot of money that they can save that otherwise they might not be able to use to, you know, afford an AED for their facility, so.
If you get accepted for this grant, does it cost anything?
No,
It's free,
it
basically
covers
free.
everything. It covers the training, the AED, the pad. It can even cover supplies after the fact.
Yeah, the batteries aren't cheap.
Right, the batteries are a couple $100s a pop, and we can cover the batteries too, depending on how you word it, what you want in your grant application. So we're getting down to crunch time, we need to get these turned in.
As far as you've read the outline for how they decide who gets the grants, I mean, is there anything in there for larger facilities that may only have one? Can they apply
Yes.
for 2 or 3?
Yeah.
You can apply for 3, 4, however many you want to apply for. They may not award all of those, but they may award more. Like if the sheriff's department wanted to put one in every car, he can apply for it depending on what the board, whoever makes the decision, may approve it or may not. We don't know. And it also replaces older AEDs, like the one in the courthouse that's out here. It can be replaced by it because it's coming to the end of its life
Is
cycle.
that the crank version that's out there?
But it does cover all that, so we need to get these turned in because
Yeah, so even if they have AEDs that they've had for 7, 8, 10 years, you know, that are approaching the end of their life cycle, they can apply to have theirs replaced even.
Is there a date on that, or how many years they're good for, or what?
it depends on each manufacturer. Like I know a lot of the ones that are around in the county, they're HeartStart FR2s. Those were put out by Philips 5 years ago, or 6 years ago now. They put out that they were gonna stop making parts for them in 5 years, so we're a year past that. So anybody that has a HeartStart FR2 probably should fill out an application.
And I assume these AEDs, the installation's all free, but there's no follow-up, there's no inspections annually or anything, no one comes by unless
We
it's
take
done
care of
in-house?
that.
You
For
guys-
everyone that I do tracking for the county, for anybody who wants, for any agencies that want me to. We keep a spreadsheet log of who has one when they're training. It's up to them to get their training and to renew their training. They get cards, it's just like a CPR certification. But I keep a log of whose batteries are expiring soon, and so forth, and whose pads are expiring, so that if I haven't heard from them, they can contact me. But they do quarterly checks on their own.
So you're on top of that as far as anyone that might be expired that could apply for the same grant?
Yeah, as long as we've helped them to get their AED and we've helped them in the past, I have a list. I'm sure there are some people in the county that I don't have that I'm missing, but, yeah, it's been tedious, but we track that.
Is this only tax entities though? Can it be private
It
individuals?
can be anyone.
There you go, Mike.
Well, I've got 3, you know, and I'm having to maintain them and it's not cheap.
It can be anybody.
Okay.
So, you can always call down to Daniel and Spain, give me your email address, or send me an email. I just, when we got that, put a Facebook post out on our ambulance Facebook page also, that has my email address, that you can email me and I can reply back with a copy of the application for you, or anybody else. So if you could pass that information along and share it with anybody you think would benefit, we would greatly appreciate it, because, I'm sorry, the 29th, they changed the date to the 29th. I just don't wanna see I don't wanna see the community miss out on this amazing opportunity.
Who does the grants?
The Luger Center through Terre Haute. It's associated kind of with Union Hospital, the Richard Luger Center, and they do multiple grant opportunities all over for all of the surrounding communities outside of Terre Haute. So this is just one that we became eligible for this year.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, may I make a comment?
Yes.
Nicole, Eric, I would like to take the lead for the courthouse and work with you on a grant in getting these here replaced with new ones.
Okay. I'll email you the application.
Please do
when I
that.
get back.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Aaron, do you have anything? Don, kind of saved you for the middle.
Oh, all right. You have your report. Very pleased with what I've received from the state this month. I totaled it up yesterday morning, and just in the month of January, since January 1st, we have received $167,000 in miscellaneous payments from the state. We've also received, since the last board meeting, and Aaron is already aware of this, of course, they did catch up on all the motor fuel tax. I thought they'd piecemeal it out every 2 weeks, but within 10 days, I got like 5 months worth. And we've already gotten what we normally get in January. I've received that. So motor fuel tax is up to date as we speak, and we've received quite a bit already this month from the state. Now, let's go to the other side of the coin. They still have yet to finalize their budgets, so we are still not getting reimbursements for state's attorney, supervisor of assessments, or public defender. If we would have that money right now, magically, Mr. Chairman, what would it be about? $150,000, $200,000, somewhere in that ballpark. So, we did get a payment from probation already this month, so things are still flowing there also. Other than that, where are we on the, I'm addressing my chance to ask buildings and grounds right now. Have we got anything going on about the, now that the grant, we got the grant, Augie, I don't know, the push button access to the buildings, what do we need to do on that?
Well, we're still looking at other vendors,
Okay,
and we'll meet with building and grounds once I get a couple more, and then we'll have something to choose from.
okay. All right, I just saw, I happened to be driving down the road, pulled down the alley and saw a guy in it was a scooter chair, but he had to do it just right. He pulled it and he flung it open and then scooted on in. Well, he's used to doing it, but I don't like seeing that. I see a problem there, so.
Did you get out and help him?
Stop traffic? Yes, Sheriff. All right, thank you. Any questions?
We were talking about that, weren't we looking at maybe 3 different places? doing
Yes,
that?
yes. Public health, courthouse,
Treasurer.
annex.
Well, the courthouse is included in one of them then. Okay. I knew Don's office and the health department.
As far as the money will go, yes, we put in the amount that was allotted to us, $8,700, and we'll take that as far as we can go.
I get first dibs, Sheriff.
Report.
High noon, I'll meet you out in the street.
That's what I was kind of waiting for.
Thank you, Don. Jeff, Sheriff?
Well, as most of you know, we have been busy the last couple of months. We've got 2 new vehicles waiting for us. Hopefully I can get free next week to get them picked up. We got a 3rd vehicle, the Howard Buffett grant. We have secured it. Just waiting for vehicle to get finished. We'll go up, pick a dog up here in a couple of weeks, and they'll start training Officer Chris Ray, take over the K-9 unit. He will start class at the end of February for 6 weeks. The city's also getting a dog through some private funding, and they will start class. So the county guy and the city guy will train together, the dog will train together, so if you don't want bit, don't mess up. Don't want up insurance too.
Jeff?
For an animal shelter, we have a lot about.
Yeah. What are we buying a dog for?
After the meeting, we'll probably, debt certificate, we'll have to check with the bank across the street. We'll need to have a special meeting sometime in the next few days, if you want to pick it up next week, to do the paperwork on that. But yeah, I suggest that maybe you and a member of the committee go over there and see Eric.
They said apparently, what I understood, they said, come get them and send us a check. I mean, it's not an issue.
Oh, I know, but we still need to,
I'm not coming over this crap and
right,
take a chance of wrecking it, getting it back.
okay, well, at any rate, we need to get that stuff squared away, okay? And if it takes a special meeting, they may not wanna wait 30 days for a check, okay? All right, Ken?
Yeah, first I'd like to express my appreciation to the sheriff and his deputies for his efforts to shut down the manufacturer and distributors of illicit drugs throughout the county. This is not an Edgar County problem. This is a national problem, certainly a lot of areas surrounding Edgar County that have it worse than we do. So I applaud his effort. I think it's exactly what we need to do. From a treatment provider standpoint, I'm also sympathetic to the individuals who are fighting addiction. And I know this creates a burden for the court probation to sort out who needs to do some long-term incarceration versus those that we can have involved in treatment. Treatment needs to be a component, whether we believe in it or not, because eventually everybody's going to get out of jail. They got to go somewhere. So treatment's proven to be effective, whether you're forced into it or not. So I encourage probation and the courts to work with HRC to help make sure we have some teeth, holding over individuals who come into treatment. Past situations, under past, shall we say, staffings, we've had a little bit of difficulty holding people accountable when they don't show up for treatment. And so when they violate conditions of probation or the court, it's important that they face some consequences and not feel they can just skip out on what's been mandated for them to help them in their recovery. So thank you, Sheriff, for all your efforts, and I hope we can work closely with the courts and probation to make sure when there are additional people coming to us for treatment, that they take it seriously.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate your comments.
Ken, I see you still have your beard, so that means you're still not in good shape.
That's right, 7 months of the budget. I'm here in November now, so it really is going to be no shave November. No shave.
So are you guys receiving anything?
Yes, I mean, because most is coming to us through court order, court mandates. We're not missing out on about 10% of the state revenue right now.
So do you cut a little off when you get money?
The two big problems for us specifically is one, the fact that the Cumberland Road rest area was shut down because the state's not paying its water bill. That's 11 people that have been displaced, and that's a significant amount of revenue we're not getting to offset some of our other services. And the fact that they still have not figured out how they're going to compensate providers for providing psychiatric service. We're still out that $80,000. So payments aren't too far behind. It's a loss of revenue because of two silly things. One, that they didn't pay their water bill to Marshall, and two, that they haven't figured out the proper payment system for supporting psychiatric services.
So HRC is still having to provide full makeup for that psychiatrist then?
Correct. Yeah, we have downsized through not filling vacant positions and those things to the tune of 10% since July. We have 10% fewer people. We're trying to do the same amount of work.
Okay.
And we've only given 2% raise in 6 years, so we're trying to operate on a lean system too.
Okay, Augie?
The March 15th primary is rapidly approaching, and before we meet again next month, early voting will have started. That begins on February the 4th. It's 40 days before the election. For whatever reason, vote by mail, absentee, in person. All early voting will be conducted here in the courthouse in our voting center, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Starting when again, Augie?
February the 4th. So we're busy behind the scenes getting ready for that.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Did you have any questions about, okay. Committee reports, Mike? Start over there in the far corner.
Nothing at this time.
Carl?
No.
Mr. Lorenzen? Sure, Eric?
Airport meeting Monday night. There's more discussion about the advisory board seats. That's currently been tabled. We'll get back to you with a decision hopefully soon. We also discussed briefly the rental of the main hangar, so we're in talks about that. But no decisions were made, just an update.
Okay. Alan?
Nothing at this time. Oh, I did, well, only other thing, one point. Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry, that can't happen. I was actually reading the booklet that you gave us, whenever it was, Augie, not from United County Councils, but the Illinois County. But it was kind of neat. We were actually featured a little bit in there for the courthouse roof and presentation, which I thought was kind of neat. It goes to every county in the state of Illinois. And how maybe it's also done a little bit for our whole community, and they had a couple pictures, so I just wanted to bring it up.
Thank
That
you,
is
Alan.
it.
All right. Andy?
Just a couple things. The flue on the boiler is installed and working. And as I mentioned Monday at the study session, I was concerned about the temperature, that it was going to be really hot. It's going to be something you had to worry about, maybe put a fence around or something. But I don't know, Jeff, you've been out, it's you can walk up to it, put your hands under it.
So it won't barbecue at home?
Won't, right, yeah.
Okay.
I was, actually, I'm really impressed, but I'm real happy with it, so, that's installed and working great. That last rain, we did have some water in the basement. Had a little bit of water in the basement. We did have some leakage in the roof, but I really think that was a phenomenal rain we got, now rain, and it was a really blowing rain, and I think what it was actually doing was, we went up and top of the bell tower and we're looking down, and the rain would run down the roof and the wind would blow it back. When it got to the bottom, it would blow it back up. So I think what it was, a lot of it was blowing back up under the shingles. At some point, when the roof gets redone, there's really no underlayment under those shingles. So when it blows back up under it, you get a drift, you get leaks. Other than that, those are probably the two big things. Some little things going on, but
You said the other day about the water heater exhausting into that,
yeah. There was a small gas water heater that was exhausting into the flue, the old flue that went up through the roof. And probably at some point, I would probably, you can either put a power vent on it, which those are pretty expensive to put on, or you can put electric water heater. You don't use a lot of it.
is that the only water heater in the whole courthouse?
I think it is. It's the only one, yeah. And I think probably at some point, we'll just replace it with an electric one would be the most cost-effective thing to do. Actually, that probably wasn't a good idea to vent that into that anyway during the summer, when you're not heating that flue, that little bit of gas that would come out of that.
What I was thinking is maybe you could put a small 10-gallon one up in the, electric one up in the judge's chambers and then one downstairs. It'd be a little bit more efficient, and if you're gonna replace them, think about, instead of having one 40 or 50-gallon water heater that nobody ever uses that much out of, might be something into, so they could make like, almost like a demand system.
Preliminary at this point, and definitely we'll look at that.
You'll waste more water upstairs in the judge's chambers waiting for the hot water to
Wait
come
for
down.
hot water to get up there.
So it's just a thought if you decide to do that.
The plumbing in this place is pretty antiquated.
Well, I wouldn't want to,
And it's hard to tell where some stuff goes.
since you changed that whole system, I'd want to make sure that that carbon monoxide isn't getting somewhere it's not supposed to.
Right.
Even out of a water heater like that. It's worked all these years and nobody's died, but now that we've changed it, it might be a time.
I wish you would have said that.
Well, I'm for doing away with anything
Right.
with that carbon monoxide like that in a public building if we can.
And like I say, it's probably, during the summer, what causes a flue to draw is the fact that
The furnaces.
there's a lot of heat going to cause it to draw. So all summer, that thing was dumping into that great big flue, probably didn't draw very well during the summer use anyway, so it's something that probably needs to be addressed anyway. So we'll look at few alternatives to probably change that out, so.
Thank you, Andy. Mr. Bruner?
Yeah, I stopped by and talked to Janet yesterday at the health department. She said the asbestos removal has been completed, so, and then Sycamore Engineering will start their process pretty soon, but because of weather, I don't think they can change out the boiler, but the new one is in. We are losing our dentist in July. He signed a contract over in Terre Haute. We tried to get him to stay here. We offered him a pretty good increase in salary, but health insurance was a sticking point. A lot more here than what it is and where he's going. So Janet said we do have a couple new resumes from dentists that she's going to look at and go from there. We are still $15,000 under the expected rate, so it's been a pretty good deal though. So probably by next spring we should have everything done out there. Animal shelter, I stopped in out there, but we still have a lot of dogs. Anybody needs any? But some lady had a bunch of, I think a female with like 7 pups and 2 or 3 other dogs, so we ended up with all those. So it's going to be kind of hard to get rid of them, but still doing a good job. The washer and dryer's taken care of. The outside water spigot's taken care of, so everything is basically in good shape. Need a little work on the computer, but she's been trying to get Ross to do some work, but maybe we can get that done. So, other than that, no problem.
Any questions of Mr. Bruner? Okay, thank you. As far as the budget, you did get a copy of it. We've reached 16.67% of the year, and you'll notice that our expenditures are 10.1%. Add in the last payroll, and we're at 13.3% of the year expended. The year's really flying by already. I'll allow you, obviously you can look at department by department, but it looks like it's in pretty good shape. The overtime in the sheriff's department has been much reduced in comparison to what it has been running. So just you might note that. You know, we're not going to eliminate overtime there altogether, but again, it speaks to our efforts with the union to do what we can. We are going to have to work on death certificates for the police vehicle, or for the sheriff's department, and then we also have to keep an eye out on the airport debt certificates, or determine how we best wish to pay for the engineering from Hanson's. We have several different options that we'll detail out at the next meeting, study session, so that we can get things ready, so when the spring arrives, we're not scrambling around trying to figure out what we're going to do. Okay? That's all I have, unless you have a question. Mr. Clerk, did I forget anything?
I think you've covered everything.
Do we have a need for an exec session, gentlemen?
Yes.
Okay. I'd entertain a motion to go into executive or a closed session based on whatever your motion
I'd
says.
like to go into closed, or make a motion to go into closed session to discuss appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, and performance, or dismissal of specific employees of a public body, pending litigation and negotiations.
Okay?
Can we have roll call on that too?
Sure. And is that a second? Are you seconding
Yes,
that
I'm
motion?
second.
Mike seconds, and we need a roll call on that, please.
Bruner,
Yes.
Farnham,
Yes.
Heltzman,
Yes.
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Zuber.
Yes.
It is unanimous. We will be going into an executive session for those stated purposes. We'll take a 5-minute break. We'll ask that our audience please clear the court.
We're back in open session, January 13th.
Okay, is there anything else to come before the meeting today? Yes, Mr. Bruner?
Back in 2013, when Robert said that was an illegal airport meeting, we had a Kremlin building. There was a reason why, because I was there, I was not on that committee. Was that the reason why it was illegal, or because of something else?
No, I was there. sat at the table and wasn't on the committee.
Yeah, but I just read in the state statute that we are allowed to attend any committee meetings legally.
We can attend them, but we can't participate. Am I correct?
No, you're not
You are correct.
This is
correct.
correct statute.
So,
You can't participate as a board member.
You can't sit and vote, and you can't,
And be in the same general area.
and offer your opinions.
Okay, I just read
You can
this
offer your
book the
opinion.
other day,
I
said
mean,
you're allowed to
He has the
attend.
right as a public
Committee.
person.
Well,
to
the
offer
way
an
that-
opinion. He can't.
The way the Attorney General wrote that deal,
I know, I just read
we can debate it all we want, but
it. I just thought I'd ask the question.
Can't be a part of the discussion.
anything else? I'd entertain a motion to adjourn, please.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Helsley, is there a second? Mr. Patrick, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. It carries. We are adjourned.
Get busy.